Deep in the icy wilderness of Antarctica lies a sleeping giant with the power to reshape the world as we know it, the Thwaites Glacier, ominously nicknamed the Doomsday Glacier. But this isn't just a tale of frozen landscapes, it's a story that impacts all of us, no matter where we live. If this massive glacier collapses, the consequences could ripple across the globe, flooding cities, displacing millions, and altering the face of our planet forever. Stay until the end of this video to uncover not only the science behind this looming crisis, but also the solutions that could save us all. The Doomsday Glacier, a race against time. Antarctica is often described as a frozen desert, but beneath its stillness lies a brewing storm. The Thwaites Glacier, one of the largest glaciers in the world, is rapidly melting. Stretching across an area larger than Florida, it holds enough ice to raise global sea levels by over 2 feet. Yet the true danger lies not just in its size, but in its role as a gatekeeper. Thwaites acts as a barrier, holding back neighboring glaciers that, if unleashed, could cause sea levels to rise by several meters. Recent studies have sounded the alarm. According to a 2023 paper in Nature, the glacier's grounding line, the critical point where the glacier meets the seabed, has retreated 14 kilometers, 8.7 miles, since the 1990s. Warm ocean currents are eroding the glacier from below, weakening its foundation. In some areas, ice is melting at an astonishing rate of over 1 kilometer per year. But the issue doesn't stop there. Thinning ice shells that act as supports for the glacier are weakening. This makes the glacier more unstable, increasing the speed of ice flow and accelerating the melting process. The result? A domino effect that could destabilize not just Thwaites but other glaciers in the region, setting off a chain reaction with catastrophic consequences. Why should you care? It's easy to think of the Thwaites Glacier as a distant problem, far removed from our daily lives. But the truth is, its collapse would affect us all. According to a 2020 study in Nature Geoscience, the collapse of Thwaites could trigger several meters of sea level rise over the coming centuries. This would be enough to submerge entire nations and redraw global coastlines. And it's not just about rising waters. A collapse would disrupt ocean currents, affecting weather patterns worldwide. Imagine more extreme hurricanes, unpredictable rainfall, and even harsher droughts. The impact would ripple through ecosystems, agriculture, and economies, leaving no corner of the world untouched. The science behind the collapse. The forces driving the potential collapse of Thwaites are complex but fascinating. Warm water intrusion is a key factor. As warm ocean currents seep beneath the glacier, they melt it from below, weakening its structural integrity. This process, known as basal melting, creates cavities under the glacier, making it more prone to breaking apart. Adding to the danger is the thinning of ice shelves. These floating extensions of the glacier act like buttresses, holding the glacier in place. When they weaken, the glacier loses its support, accelerating its flow into the ocean. Once the tipping point is reached, the collapse could occur rapidly, with devastating effects. What would happen if it collapsed? If Thwaites were to collapse completely, the immediate effect would be a sea level rise of over 2 feet. This alone would inundate low-lying areas, displacing millions of people. But the real danger comes from the glaciers it holds back. Without Thwaites acting as a barrier, these neighboring glaciers could add several more meters to global sea levels over time. The economic costs would be staggering. Coastal infrastructure worth trillions of dollars would be at risk. Ports, airports, and entire cities could be submerged, disrupting trade and causing widespread economic instability. The social impact would be equally severe, with mass migrations and conflicts over dwindling resources becoming inevitable. The domino effect. The collapse of the Thwaites Glacier wouldn't just be an isolated event, it would set off a chain reaction with global repercussions. Known as the Doomsday Glacier, Thwaites acts as a critical barrier, holding back neighboring glaciers that collectively contain enough ice to raise sea levels by several meters. If Thwaites collapses, the support it provides to these glaciers will disappear, allowing them to flow into the ocean at an accelerated rate. This domino effect would lead to an unstoppable rise in sea levels, inundating major coastal cities like New York, Tokyo, and Mumbai. Low-lying island nations could be entirely submerged, displacing millions of people and causing widespread economic devastation. According to studies, the collapse of Thwaites alone could raise sea levels by over 2 feet, but the cascading effect from neighboring glaciers could add several more meters in the coming centuries. The consequences don't stop at flooding. Ocean ecosystems would face dramatic changes as fresh water from melting glaciers disrupts marine habitats. Fisheries, which millions depend on for food and livelihoods, could collapse. Infrastructure near coastlines, ports, power plants, and transportation hubs would be at constant risk of damage or destruction. The interconnected nature of our planet means that one glacier's collapse could ripple through ecosystems, economies, and societies worldwide. Understanding the domino effect underscores the urgency of addressing climate change now. Each step we take to reduce emissions and stabilize global temperatures could prevent this catastrophic chain reaction from being set into motion. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the time to act is now. Can we stop it? The situation may feel overwhelming, but there's still hope. Scientists believe that if we act now, we can avoid the most devastating consequences of the Doomsday Glacier's collapse. The first and most important step is to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The melting of polar ice is directly linked to global warming, so transitioning to clean energy sources like wind, solar, and hydropower is critical. Adopting sustainable practices in agriculture, industry, and daily life can also help slow the planet's warming. Innovative solutions are already being explored to tackle the glacier's instability. Some researchers are investigating artificial barriers that could block warm ocean currents from reaching the glacier's base. Others are experimenting with technologies that could refreeze portions of the ice to strengthen its foundation. While these ideas are still in the experimental stage, they represent the kind of bold thinking needed to address such a massive challenge. This is a global issue, and international cooperation is essential. No single country can tackle the fate of the Doomsday Glacier alone. Governments must work together to fund climate research, implement policies that limit emissions, and invest in renewable energy. Supporting global agreements like the Paris Climate Accord is a vital step in uniting nations to combat climate change. The key is recognizing that solutions are within our reach. By acting decisively and collectively, we can slow the glacier's retreat, protect coastal communities, and preserve the planet for future generations. The window for action is narrowing, but it's not closed yet. The clock is ticking. Time is running out, and the Thwaites Glacier isn't waiting for us to act. Scientists warn that we may be approaching a tipping point, a moment where the glacier's collapse becomes inevitable. Every year that passes without significant action to curb greenhouse gas emissions and slow global warming brings us closer to this catastrophic event. The glacier's retreat is accelerating, and the processes driving its instability are advancing faster than previously predicted. What makes this crisis so urgent is the scale of its potential impact. A 2-foot rise in sea levels would be devastating on its own, but the domino effect could unleash a cascade of consequences that reshape coastlines and displace millions. Once the tipping point is crossed, reversing the damage will be impossible. This isn't a problem for future generations, it's a crisis unfolding in real time. However, the clock ticking doesn't mean we're powerless. It means the time for action is now. Governments, industries, and individuals must unite to prioritize climate solutions. From investing in renewable energy to protecting polar ecosystems, every decision matters. The Doomsday Glacier serves as a stark reminder that nature won't wait for us to catch up. If we want to secure our future, we must act decisively and urgently before it's too late. The story of the Doomsday Glacier is one of both danger and opportunity. While the threat is real and immediate, so too is our ability to act. Every step we take towards sustainability, every effort we make to reduce emissions, brings us closer to a safer, more stable future. But the clock is ticking. The glacier isn't waiting, and neither can we. Let's make the choices that will preserve our world for generations to come. If this video opened your eyes, share it with others, like and subscribe for more insights into the challenges and solutions shaping our planet. Together we can make a difference.